Alrighty, traders, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the morning coffee session here on the Friday morning. And we just had non-farm payrolls come out, and the numbers came out. 700 jobs lost, 700,000 jobs lost last month, which was no surprise, obviously, totally no surprise. Most of the job losses came from food, the services industry, and the food industry, which we know would absolutely get the first effect from the coronavirus. Now, with that being said, traders, we also had a bunch of trades that we had in that we were following. We're looking at a recovery mode. I'm going to go through that this morning because I closed out by the end of last month, March. I'm struggling here. End of March, I closed out all my positions because I want to go ahead and do a restart again and restart for month of April. So we've got a couple of trades that I've got active right now based on this week, but we're going to go ahead and take a look and see what's going on right here. So without further ado, let's jump into the charts right here, and let's take a look at the details of what's going on. You can see these are the trades that I've got now open. I've got a trade on the Euro Pound. I've got a trade on the Pound Canadian. And let's go ahead and take a look and see what is it that we closed out on with regards to the trading results. So let's go ahead and take a look right here. Here would be the trading results. We were looking pretty terrible at the start of the. Let me just go ahead and jump to this quickly. So we were looking horrible at the beginning of the month. And we managed to crawl back and get to a place where we now recovered most of the losses. Take a look over here. You can see that this week we closed out 16% this week, and therefore that brought us back to a 6% drawdown. So we're on a 6% drawdown. We are carrying two positions at the moment right now. So not a bad loss considering how the market moved in the beginning of the month. With all that big movement that we had, we pretty much not all bad than what it looked like at towards the middle of the month. The middle of the month, it looked like it was horrible. All right, so we've managed to recover back, and this year, with all the stocks that have dropped down and fallen this month. Taking a 6% loss is not at all a bad situation, and it's something that we can recover back very quickly. In fact, looking at the strategy, with the strategy giving us a return of 6% per month, it looks like we should be able to recover back reasonably quickly and get back on track for the year. So we always close out with a positive here. We're going to do this year again. We just need to focusing in on the details and making sure that we stay and stick with the strategy that we're following without going outside the box, which means over leveraging or just doing something different because we're in a form of panic instead of paying attention to what we should do, and let's follow the rules on the strategy. So with that being said, trader, let's go ahead and take a look and see this week. This is the week that we had. I never actually did go ahead and start trending the Euro CAD, even though there was no targets this week. And the reason why I didn't do that is because I chose to go ahead and close out and restart everything and then start off again with the strategy that I am currently following. So with that being said, let's take a look and see all these unhit targets that we have for the week. And as you can see right here, and where is it? I put this down. Let's take a look here. All right. So let's go start off at the top here. We had the Euro Aussie unhit target for the week. And if we go to the Euro Aussie right here, you can go ahead and change the. All right. So Euro Aussie first. Let's take a look at that chart. And here we go. Okay, so Euro Aussie, we're looking at Euro Aussie to be still an unhit target. Never actually did anything this week. It went sideways most. You can see we actually went sideways this week. Never got us into a trade So although we still have an unhit target, there was no trading opportunity for this week. So let's go ahead and say no trade. Let's go to Euro New Zealand dollar. That also, again, was a low probability right here. And let's take a look and see what went down here. Euro New Zealand dollar. And Euro New Zealand dollar actually did go ahead and hit the target for this week. Let me go ahead and enlarge that a little bit so we can see that a little bit more clearer. And there you can see, all right, we've hit the target for the week. No entry point on this one right here, so we do have a hit target. And there was no trade. Go to Euro Pound. Euro Pound, we did get in on the Euro Pound. I'll show you the position I'm in right here. All right, here's the unhit target right here. We did get into a, well, it was on my, I think it was right about here. Yep, there it is there. So there at the 1st of April, we actually got into an overbought condition right here. I'm currently in on this position there. There you can see down here, I got one trade in, only one entry point in. And I did enter it 89.91. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. So 87.91. So 87.91. All right, there it is, 87.91, and this one's active. Okay. And we got in with an oversold condition, and we are buying right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the euro. Euro trade right here as price went ahead and tested that level, and so therefore we have no trade on this target that actually hit this week. So hit target and no trade. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pound Canadian. Yeah, unfortunately, someone's asked me if this session is in Spanish. Hello? Hello? I don't know. That's all I got, man. I got nothing else for you. No, this session is not in Spanish. Listen here. You don't want me to speak Spanish, all right? You seriously don't want me to speak Spanish. Let's go take a look right here. This is the pound Canadian right here. We have an unhit target. We have an unhit target right here. And my beautiful wife managed to bring me a cup of coffee. A little late this morning. Come on, wifey. What's up with that? But yeah, I got my cup of coffee going here. Hopefully everyone's got their cup of coffee. I mean, the morning Forex coffee cannot be it if it doesn't have a cup of coffee, right? All right, so let's go ahead and continue. So the pound Canadian has an unhit target right here. We never really got into a situation where we can get in. I don't believe we did, but hold on a second. I might be wrong. Actually, we did right here. And do I have a position in? I think that's the other trade I've got in. Yep, there it is. Pound Canadian. We got in at 77.81. 77.81. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. 77.81. All right, and we are in a trade. We're selling. By the way, we're buying on this one right here. So we're selling right here. We have an unhit target, and this is active. All right, now let's take a look at the pound JPY. Actually, we can take a look at all these pound crosses right here. So let's go to pound JPY. And pound JPY will move sideways. No trading opportunity this week. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. This is pound New Zealand dollar. Pound New Zealand dollar came just shy of the target, but no trade on the pound New Zealand dollar either this week. Let's go to the next trade. Let's go to pound Aussie. Laura says, be nice to your wife. Oh yeah, I am. Oh yeah, I know how important it is to have my cup of coffee. I've got to be a nice guy. All right, you've got pound Aussie right here. Pound Aussie hit the target. So pound Aussie hit target on the pound Aussie, and these two were no trades. And there were low probabilities. This one right here hit its target, also no trade right here on the pound Aussie, but we did hit the target this week. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the pound US dollar. Pound USD, let's see here. There it is there. Where's it? There we go. Pound US dollar right here. And pound US dollar went sideways this week. You can see right here, sideways. And didn't quite hit the target. Non-farm payroll did not move this pair this morning. And I think we discussed that during the week. Said that I don't expect any sort of fireworks coming out of the non-farm payroll, just because the numbers are expected to be bad. And with that being the case, it's just like, well, it's a no-brainer. It's just going to be what it is. Let's go ahead and take a look at, so this was an unhit target, no trading opportunity on this one right here. Let's go ahead and mark it off. Right here, no trade. Let's go to Aussie JPY. Take a look at Aussie JPY this morning. And Aussie JPY is a hit target this week. No trading opportunity. So let's go mark that off as hit target and no trade. So you see how many trades we picked up this week that were setting up for an opportunity, and it just pretty much went ahead and closed out with no trades. Let's take a look over here. Yeah, we've got Aussie CAD and Aussie US dollar. Let's take a look at those two. This is Aussie CAD right here. Aussie CAD hit its target. And oh wow. Oh, did we get in? We must have got in on this one right here. Yeah, this one, well, hang on. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? We didn't get in? No, we did not. I'm going to go to the MT4 platform right here. Let's take a look here at Aussie Canadian. And looks like, no, we did not get into a trade on this. No, we did not. Not that I can see here. Oh, that's because I closed out with a buy position right here, but it still never got us into an overbought. So I closed out all my buys right here, but I never saw it actually pick me up on a new trade in an overbought condition right here. I can just go ahead and add on the RSI right here. And let's do that RSI. And wait a minute, it tells me that we did get into an overbought condition right here. And that was the 31st. That's strange. The 31st. So I think we did actually get in on this trade. Let me see here. Let me set this up for the week. Last week, yep, let's go ahead and set it up. Let's go symbol-wise. No, I don't see it. Hold on. Wait, maybe I'm wrong here. Aussie US dollar. Aussie JP. Whoa, hang on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We actually did get in on this. Oh, no. This is the buy I picked up right here. My bad. So these are the buys I had right here. So we went profit on the buys. I don't see any sells here. No sells. So I think I was still in a position by the time it was, by the time I went into an overbought condition, I closed out. So I guess I did not get in on that trade, but it was a trade opportunity I missed out on. It looks like it was only one entry point though, and it closed out with about 281 pips. So this one was actually a sell that was active and closed out with 281 pips right here. on that position. And the entry point on that would have been right at the top of this move right here. And we're looking at, let's take a look right here. Zoom in a little bit closer up. Looking at a price of, let's say, 0.8800. So 0.880. All right, there it is. All right, and then Aussie US dollar right here. Let's go take a look at Aussie US dollar. No trade on Aussie US dollar, but we did hit the target this week. So hit target and no trade on this one. Lastly, New Zealand CAD. New Zealand Canadian. Let's take a look right here. And New Zealand Canadian also hit a target this week. And no trade on this one either. So here's target, but no trade. All right, Sophie says here, Sophie says, Sophia says, Gary, can you show the EA settings? I need to double check. Sure. This is what I got for the settings. There it is. Go ahead and double check that. That's what I've got for my settings here on the FXCM platform. All right. Go ahead and take a screenshot if you need to take a screenshot. This video, of course, is recorded. You can go ahead and obviously review the recording if you need to as well. All right. Now that we've gone ahead and reset our trading, we'll go ahead and take a look at the P&L. We'll start balancing the P&L for this week and last week. I'm going to go ahead and do that so we can get this the track record updated for the first quarter. See where we are with the first quarter, and then start the second quarter running because we're now heading into the second quarter. This week has been partially second quarter. We'll probably carry this week over as quarter one, and then start next week with quarter two. So we'll go ahead and balance the books. But it's clear right here, if you look at the MyFX book right here, this is how we've closed out for the week. And actually, in fact, the quarter is going to be minus 1%. And the minus 1% comes from this right here, having a March month that was very, very, very troubling for us based on the movement in the coronavirus. So that is what it is. But the good thing is we are in a new start for the month of April. So the second quarter is going to be a lot better for us as we go into the second quarter. And we'll take a look and see how things materialize in that quarter. So we'll take a look and see what's going on. But let's go take a look at the dollar index. I want to go into the dollar index as well as into US oil. US oil is on a little rally. And we may be on our way to $42 a barrel. There's a gap between, I believe, 36 and 42. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that from a technical perspective. But let's go into the larger time frame. Here is the dollar index for you. Hold on, this doesn't. I'm just going to go ahead and refresh that. And so that everyone knows, yes, we're going to be looking at the dollar index, and we're going to go ahead and pay attention to US oil as well and see how it's set up from a technical perspective. And so yeah, let's go ahead and take a look right here. So this is US oil right here. This is dollar index right here, and we're seeing a little bit of a rally in today's trading. And again, I said it when we saw the unemployment claims coming out this week. We're like, this is bad numbers, man. This is horrible numbers. How can we see still dollar rally? How can we see the dollar rally? Well, remember something. when the stock market is on a fall, right? When stock markets are plummeting, all right, we tend to see money moved into cash, which causes obviously the dollar index to start moving north. And when we see dollar index moving north, that means stock markets are down. I haven't looked at the numbers yet, but let's go ahead and take a look and see what we've got going here regarding. And here you can see if I go to the chart right here, or at least the data, you can see here we're down on the Dow, we're down on S&P, we're down on Nasdaq. Russell's down 1%. We've got the Nikkei that is also down 1%. That's the Tokyo market. So the Japanese market. Sorry, we are definitely down on that. The VIX is slightly sideways. VIX is showing less panic in the market right now. That's why we're not seeing these big moves in the market as we did at the beginning of the month of March. We've got crude oil. Crude oil is on a up. We're seeing crude oil up, and are we starting to see a little bit of downside move in coffee? Right. So I guess we've got to have more of these morning coffee sessions and to go ahead and get a little bit of a spike in coffee. Orange juice is down. People are moving out of fitness drinks and don't need a little bit more, don't need as much caffeine anymore, but we're going to have to go ahead and bump that up. So you can see that we definitely have a downside move in the stock markets here at the open. Let's go ahead and we've got about 3 minutes left before we get a good move on that. So that's a futures market right here. Dollar index does look like it's testing this resistance. And that's the resistance coming off that high in December. Let's take a look here. I think it was actually around about it looks like it's 2017 high. So it's January 2017. I'm going to put that in here and mark that off as January 2017 high. So there it is there. We're testing that. We traded through that. We're testing it. I'm seeing this, and maybe this is just me, but I'm seeing this as just a retest of this big, huge bearish turnaround right here. And if you look at this right here, the reason why I'm saying this is because price went ahead and moved from this level right here, right? And this was the beginning of March. This is when the stock market crashed, and you can see that the dollar index rallied very quickly up, but then came back very quickly back down again to where it basically started right here. And now this, in my opinion, is just a retest of this big move going down, and then we should start seeing dollar index continue its fall back down south. So I would say towards beginning May, we may start seeing at least a turnaround and maybe halfway down towards this level of support right here. So I'm seeing this as just a little bit of a corrective move at the moment right now, based on this big bearish turnaround that we've seen right about there. And if that's the case, then I should be expecting the market to show, and this comes to, if we look at, like, for instance, like US dollar trading against the other majors, like Aussie. Let's take Aussie US dollar. You see here Aussie US dollar. You see our prices come back down again, just a correction move, and we now should see Aussie moving back up, Aussie US dollar. So this is just a correction move before price starts pushing back up again, and this may be more strength out in Aussie than it is in the dollar itself, but we're definitely going to see a change in the directional bias once the support holds over here. So I'm expecting Aussie to strengthen up a little bit and then push us a little higher. Now, obviously, the Canadian has moved up quite strongly today over the last 24 hours, and the reason why it's moved up is because if you take a look at the US oil right here, US oil is, and I'm going to go ahead and compress this to a weekly time frame. You can see it's so much more clear on the weekly. Check this out. We've been talking about this level of support right here, and we said that this is going to be a solid level of support. You can see 1, 2, 3 touches over the stretch of about 12 years, right, since 2008. And so we said that we can anticipate oil to go ahead and push higher. Now, the question that a lot of traders are saying, well, if it's going to push higher, are we seeing price now going to fulfill the gap we saw over that weekend, which is between $42 a barrel, give or take a few, and down here around about, $36 right here, because we did get a spike up here, $36 a barrel. So we've got a little bit of a gap still open here. I'm going to go ahead and stretch this out a little bit. And there it is there. So is oil going to go ahead and start filling up the gap? And the answer to that is it's possibly going to do that. And I did say that when we get down to around about $21 a barrel, I did say that we are going to see price move back up to about $42 a barrel. So it's on its up right now. We'll see how this maintains itself. Obviously, this is going to be dependent on the news out in the Middle East and Russia. Are they going to come to an agreement and to stabilize the price, start driving price back up again? Because this was obviously a situation where the Middle East decided that they're going to go ahead and have a price war against Russia and start driving price lower. And they certainly made that evident, and it has hit its bottom down there. I think we got down to about 20, was it 17, 19? Yeah, $19.25 was the low we got down here at this point in time right here. So we did see the market move and bounce back up again off that level. Now, with that being said, let's go take a look at some of the Canadian crosses, specifically Aussie CAD. I am in on a lot of positions right here. I'm holding majority on another trading account. Majority of my position, I'm holding on the Aussie CAD. And Aussie CAD right here has gone through that monthly low. I was hoping for it to stay above there so we can go up to the next level. And it's broken through that level. Now, I'm going to see this as just a corrective move of this big move to the upside. So if I move this to a weekly time frame, you can see here that we have this big piercing line on the weekly, and so this is just a retest. I don't like the candle that it's showing right here, but it's going to take some time for us to get back up to this downward trend line. So it's in a corrective move right here, and we're going to start seeing some movement to the upside. Now, we did speak about, we had a roundtable session yesterday with a couple of my colleagues, and we spoke about a good pair to hedge against the Aussie CAD, and that was the Canadian Swiss franc. So if I go to the Canadian Swiss franc, let's go ahead and put it in here, CAD Swiss. CAD Swiss should be a buy, and there it is there. It's starting to close up the gap right here. We had a little consolidation right here, but if you take a look at the way the market moved here on the lower time frame, we can see that there was a signal over here to confirm a buy. If I move this down to a 15-minute time frame, there would have been some solid buys right here coming up from the break of this trend line right here. So definitely solid buys right here. Good place to go ahead and start thinking about buying in. As you can see right here, we've really got positions in right here, one there, and we're buying along on that pair. So it's a good hedge position against the Aussie CAD because of the fact that if the Canadian dollar is going to move stronger because of US oil, it's going to push the Canadian Swiss bullish. And because we're looking for a bearish Swiss, all right, then we may end up seeing the Canadian Swiss actually move a lot higher and a lot quicker. Let's take a look at the target here. Well, if you look at this from a compressed point of view, you can see that we are range bound. Price tested the support right here. We're now trading above support. we're expecting price to continue to work its way back up to the top right here. So this is a long ways up. I'm really hoping that the price of oil, does get to a point where it doesn't start becoming the driving force for the Canadian crosses, and that the other pairs, or at least the other currencies traded against the Canadian dollar, start showing some strength. Like specifically, I'm referring to the Aussie itself. If we can get some strength in Aussie and New Zealand, which I am expecting a bit of strength in, then we should see price moving back up to the tops right here. So I'm definitely going to look for price to move back up to the tops. Now, if we go to the U.S. oil, Sophia said gold. We'll look at gold, Sophia. John says great call on selling U.S. dollar CAD. Well, U.S. dollar CAD has definitely started. All right, it had its move right here. It did pull back. And so, yes, we are looking to sell on US dollar against the Canadian dollar. And you can see we're already in two positions right here. I'm actually using the 1 hour time frame to go ahead and start deploying setups. And you can see that I'm currently holding two positions right here on another trading account, holding two positions right here, looking for price to go ahead and start breaking through this level. So this will be weak dollar and strong US oil. If both US oil and dollar are strong, then clearly the price is going to move sideways because the US dollar CAD is mostly affected by US oil. If there's any currency pair that you want to follow that has a correlation with US oil, definitely look at US CAD, right? And US CAD right now is definitely showing signs of sideways ranging right here, and that's because we're getting a little bit of strength out of the dollar index. But the dollar index shouldn't hold ground for too long. We should start seeing it coming back down again. And again, US oil, are we going to see US oil actually moving back up? I think, listen here, there was a tweet by Trump tweeted yesterday on US oil. Let me see if I can actually find that tweet. And there was so many comments coming back right here. I got to look for it right here. Let's see here. Come on. There was a tweet yesterday. I think it may be under the this right here, the latest stories. Was it this? No. That was not it. Anyway, my point here was. Trump tweeted that, oh gosh, I got to get that tweet, man, because I can't remember the exact wording. But he tweeted, he tweeted something around the Saudis and Russia, and stating that this may start creating some sort of upside rally on. I can't find it, but anyway, he said there might be some sort of upside rally in U.S. oil. And this may be good for us here in the U.S. And there was a lot of comments coming around. There's a lot of comments, traders saying, "Oh yeah, as much how much does he really know?" And I mean, this is just BS, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. But the truth of the matter is, when he goes in and throws out these tweets and that, it's almost like people start paying attention and things start moving. So. As much as we don't like a lot of these tweets that go down, we got to pay attention to these tweets, because a lot of times when those tweets do go through, markets move. It may not be, we may have an initial move at the market, but eventually we're going to start seeing price follow through. And so I'm treating President Trump's tweets just as any fundamental, right? It may be flash news that comes up because it's not scheduled news, but it's certainly going to move the markets, and it has shown that over the last few years, as we know how these tweets do come out. So check out the markets for this week. It's been a very slow week, right? I mean, if I go ahead and look at the way trading's been for this week right here, it's been a very slow week of trading. All right, and not a lot of good action out of the markets. We've seen some of the pairs moving in a bit of a sideways range, but I can say this, all right, for this week, that if you had paid attention to some short-term opportunities, trading it during I wouldn't say the quiet times, but I would say more the active times. If you traded towards the active times of the day, which is the European session, you would have picked up some good trading opportunities. And look for those high daily average true range or these pairs. They are definitely the way to go. You got to do a little bit more homework on the actual pairs that you want to go ahead and trade. And that's really been the story of the month. Is you're going to be very selective on the pairs that you want to trade, and not only selective on the pairs that you want to trade, but you have to be selective on exactly what strategy you're going to use in order to be able to take advantage of the moves that are taking place, because some pairs aren't moving as much as others, and so you have to be selective on the pairs, but also, of course, the time that you're doing your trading as well. So there's a question here, and the question here is gold. Let's go ahead and take a look at gold right here. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look at, let's go ahead and flip over to the charts here. So this is gold, and if I look at the gold setup right here, a few months ago, before the news actually came out, in I think it was in January, we did mention that price is going to come back up to retest the 1.1700 level. We actually called it 1673. We called the 1673 right here, and we said that price would come up to this level, and then turn around and head back down south. We did get a little lower, but I'm still going to call gold to come down a little bit more lower than what it is right now. I think we've hit a top. I believe gold's going to come back below this 1400 and let's say 1446 right here. I'm thinking price is going to probably come back down a little bit lower than that. I do realize, though, that we do have this upward channel, and the inside channel has been tested, but the outer channel has not been tested. But I just feel that price has hit a key level of resistance based on the fifth wave 127 right here, which is a Fibonacci extension. And so I'm expecting price to hold there and turn around to head back down south. So I'll keep an eye on this as well. But gold, I'm expecting gold to fall a little further down south and to come back down just below, maybe just to retest that $1,446 an ounce right here. So we'll keep an eye on that. We take a look over here at, let's see here. Now, Laura says here, if a currency has a downside daily target and an upside weekly target, which one is stronger? Good question, Laura. So, if there is I want you to think of it more from a logical point of view, right? Think about the daily targets as some short-term trend, and look at the weekly targets as a long-term trend, all right? Or let's put it this way. I think this is maybe a better scenario. Look at the daily targets as a 1 hour time frame support and resistance, and then look at the weekly targets as a weekly support and resistance. So you got daily, you got 1 hour, or not? Hang on, I said 1 hour time frame for the dailies, right? So if the 1 hour time frame is the support of a daily daily pivot point, then the weekly pivot point should be maybe seen as let's call it the daily support and resistance levels. I don't know if that's simplifying it, but in any case, point I'm trying to get at is that when the price moves, all right, when price moves to these larger pivot points, all right, it's got to use the smaller pivot points to act as support and resistance for the market. So it's almost like saying that the larger time frames controls the smaller time frames, but it's the smaller time frames that support the larger time frame turning points. All right. So if I have to show, maybe it's better that I show you on a chart right here without really getting confusing here. And I think this is going to simplify it right here. So this is what I'm trying to say here. If these are the daily targets right here, all right, and we have a weekly target up here at the top, it's going to take these daily targets to support the market going up towards that weekly target. I think that's about the best I can show you right here. And that's about it. So when we look at what is stronger, the weekly or the daily targets, the answer to that, Laura, is this. All right, Laurel. The answer to that is this: that both the daily and the weekly are important, and there's no and the weekly, obviously, the weekly is the higher time frame. All right. If we look at the weekly pivot points, we're referring to the weekly pivot points as a higher time frame. So when you look at the old saying where you say the larger time frames control the smaller time frame, then you could almost say the larger pivot points control the smaller pivot, the shorter pivot points or the lower pivot points. All right, but it's equally important that the smaller pivot points or the lower pivot points support the movement towards the larger pivot points. All right. I hope that made sense here on a Friday morning. I hope that made sense. But so that's pretty much what it is right there. And so if we looked at pivot points right here, and we follow pivot points, in order for me to be able to get to this pivot point, let's look at it here. Let's look at one trade right here. Yep, here we go. If this is gold right here, this is gold. If we were trading gold pivot points here, then we'll be looking at this showing that this is a weekly pivot point right here, but what we would probably be seeing on the lower time frame, we'll probably be seeing a lot of daily pivot points supporting this move going up right here. All right. So there's going to be daily pivot points in between right here that's going to be supporting the move to get to the weekly pivot point right here. And that's why when you're looking at a weekly pivot point and you see price trading above the daily pivot points, then it's telling us that we're in an uptrend towards that weekly pivot point. So you can pretty much use that and combine that with a bit of your technical analysis there too. All right. So that's pretty much it. We're done for the week here. And we're going to go ahead and take a look and see what happens next week. As we go into next week's trading, we'll see what the market brings us. We are carrying over 2 trades this week. We're carrying over the pound. Let me take a look again. I think it's it's the pound Canadian and, of course, the euro pound. So those are 2 positions we're holding. We've got just 1 trade on each of those currency pairs. And we're going to hold those trades open until next week. We'll see how that materializes. But we're on the road of recovery. We'll see if the month of April is a good month for us to go ahead and recover and go into the money for the year based on our recovery for the month of March. So it is what it is. Being very transparent to how the markets are moving and how it's affected our trading this last month. We'll go ahead and see how things materialize in the month of April. So with that being said, traders, have an awesome weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you back again next week, Monday. This is FX Big Dog signing off.